Hey everyone, I'm Mind, and here's a look at every single minifigure that comes in the January 2026 Ninjago sets. In January, there's two different waves of Ninjago. There's the Ninjago Legacy wave and the main Dragons Rising Season 4 wave, and if you were to get every single one of those sets, this is all of the minifigures you would collect. I was fortunate enough to have these sets gifted to me by LEGO for review, and if you want to see the full reviews of any of the sets that these minifigures come in, you can find them up on the channel right now. There should be a link in the description or in the pinned comment. But in this video, I just want to talk about the minifigures themselves, both the distribution across the entire wave, as well as an up-close look at each of the minifigures. I do want to mention right off the bat, though, a large portion of these minifigures come from the Old Town set, which is the big D2C set of this wave. Pretty much everything you see in this row except for these four minifigures right here. While these minifigures are amazing and I really love them, if I were to review them in this video, it would be like half the video just reviewing these again. And while I've reviewed all these minifigures before in other videos, this video is at least like talking about all the Dragon suits together, all the villains together. But the Old Town minifigures, they're so different and they're all in that Old Town review, so I won't be going in depth about any of them in this video. Go check out the Old Town review if you want to see them. Instead, I want to focus on the new ninja suits, the new villains, as well as like the few little side characters we have in the main wave sets. Before we get up close to the minifigures though, just looking at distribution, honestly, I think this is one of the best like minifigure distributions across the entire wave that I've ever seen. Just because it doesn't feel like any one ninja is prioritized over another. Just looking at Legacy, every single ninja comes in two different sets, the Old Town and the Anniversary display. Kai and Cole unfortunately don't have their hoods in the Old Town, but you can get extras of their hoods elsewhere, because Cole comes in the poly bag and Kai's hood comes in the blacksmith shop. The main Dragons Rising wave too, every ninja has one dragon form and one non-dragon form. Zane, Nya, and Kai are a little more common than the others, because all of the others only have their regular form in one set, while Zane comes in two, Kai comes in two, though one is like the dragon form, and Nya comes in two. Villain distribution this time around, again, I'm pretty happy with. I wish the Mutation Monster was a little more common because he only comes in two sets, and only one set's like the complete version, but I love that the Acid Snake is so common because I think this is one of the coolest minifigures in the entire wave, and you get three across it, so it's not too difficult to find. Arin and Sora come in two sets each, you get the new Euphrasia in one set. I would have liked to see Frack and Wildfire included somewhere here because they're a part of the Ninja team, but they were entirely left out for January. But aside from that, I do honestly think this was a pretty good minifigure distribution. If I was going to be super nitpicky, I would have liked maybe more of the generic Loyalists, but I haven't seen the show yet, so I don't know how common they're going to be. If there is only a couple of them, honestly, I don't mind that we only got three. I feel like with a lot of Ninjago waves, the heroes are prioritized over the villains, or the villains are all very samey, right? We might have one or two villain minifigures. But no, we have a nice variety of villains this wave, 5 unique minifigures, and every single one of them comes in multiple sets. The only real negative that I give this minifigure lineup is perhaps there's too many exclusives. I talk about this more in my buying guide video, but every single set this wave has at least one exclusive minifigure. In 2 of the sets, it's just a unique combination of parts, like the Kai from the mech is just this one without the armor and the tail, and the Nya in the spinner is the same one as the one in the car, just with armor added. So if you don't count those two as unique, you can discount the small mech and the Nya spinner. But aside from that, every other set, both Legacy and Dragons Rising, has at least one exclusive minifigure, which if you're the kind of person who loves to collect every single set and you can afford to collect every single set, then great. You get something unique in every single one. But LEGO's expensive and not everybody can do that, so there is no like cheap option to get every single minifigure. If you want everybody, you do need to get every set. And personally, I do find that to be a little bit of a shame. In my opinion, having more accessibility to characters and variants is always a good thing. But yeah, that and the fact that Frack and Wildfire aren't here are my only real critiques of this entire minifigure lineup. Overall, I think it's one of the stronger ones we've seen. But now let's dive a bit deeper into the minifigures and take a look at every single one of these up close. Again, except for the Old Town minifigures, which if you want to see more about them, go check out my Old Town review. So I'm going to start with the Dragons Rising minifigures, and then we'll move on to the few Legacy figures that I am still covering in this video. But first up, we have the 2 new Dragons Rising suits for Cole. This one on the right here, this is the new Dragon form, and it's called Dragon form on the box, but I see a bunch of people in my comments calling it Draconus form. Draconius? It's Draconus. And I see that's what's listed as on the Ninjago wiki, but I have no idea where that name comes from. I do like that it potentially has a different name because, of course, Dragon form is what the crystallized suits are called. But yeah, on the boxes for these sets, it is just called Dragon form. It's not called Draconus form. So I will probably continue to call it Dragon form, at least until the show comes out and we see what's actually up. This is Dragon form, the crystallized one is Golden Dragon form. It's similar, but it's different enough that it makes sense for me. But yeah, every ninja has 2 different variants this wave that are very similar to each other. Their Dragon form has this full tail and wings, and then their regular form has that same armor piece and everything, but not the full hood. Instead, they just have a half mask in their hairpiece. You can see that the torso and leg print are exactly the same on these two, however. All of the Dragon forms use this really cool new armor piece that has studs at the back to attach these wings, but they've got this like layered triangular shoulder armor on, and I think on the full Dragon forms that fits in really well. The big wings at the back wrap around it nicely, it fits well with this giant hood that they have too, but on the regular versions it almost looks a little silly because their heads are so tiny compared to the giant armor, and I've seen a lot of very mixed opinions on this version of the outfit, but at least me personally, I love it. I think I actually like these versions more than the full dragon forms. Because while this is like objectively cooler, this is the perfect mix of cool and silly that I adore. This very wide, pointy armor with a regular sized Lego head feels so stylized and fun. And it's so different for Ninjago too, like this is an entirely new silhouette that we've never seen on a Ninjago minifigure before. And Ninjago's a theme that's been around for 15 years, so we've had a lot of different ninja suits. This feels fully new and fresh to me. I absolutely adore it. In regards to the torso and leg print, you'll see that all the dragon forms have a very similar design. They've got this golden dragon face in the center of their chest with the ninja's logo on it, then dragon scales in gold right below that they have a belt on, and then there's a few more of the scales on their legs, some knee pads, and then little dragon toes at the bottom. I think that's a really cool design, and as you'll see, the design is slightly different across each of them. It's not like the exact same thing copy-pasted. The belt lays a little bit differently on each ninja, and the biggest thing is the scales are shaped differently. So the scales on Cole are a little wider, a little rougher to sort of like give that rocky earth feel, and I think that's very effective. Also, in terms of Cole specifically, the colors, I like overall. I think the dark gray belt's a little bit weird. Not that dark gray doesn't fit Cole, he's used it plenty of times before, but just because he doesn't use dark gray anywhere else. The rest of this outfit is orange, both on his Draconus form and the regular version. So dark gray is just a color that's only used in that one place and nowhere else. I feel like orange on the belt instead might have tied in a little bit nicer, but it does work fine. Dark gray is a very neutral color, and it is definitely still a Cole color, so I like this suit overall. If we turn these guys around, of course, the dragon form has dragon wings on the back. These are the same as the draconian wings that we got in 2025, though of course recolored for some of the ninja. In Cole's case, yes, this is a new recolor in black, and then they all have this brand new dragon tail piece, which is shared between them, but of course recolored for each of them. And this part's quite interesting, because it's like a rubber or soft plastic, so while there's no like actual posability to it, there is a good bit of give. So if you want to move this around, like while you're actively playing with it, that's something you can do. And if you let go, it just sort of falls back into place. That attaches at the waist, just like plenty of other minifigure accessories. It slips over the legs right there. I love that they went all out with the design of it. Like, it is absolutely massive. Every other Lego tailpiece we've had before has been a good bit smaller than this, but the size of this one really demands a presence. It really makes Cole feel like he is in some sort of dragon form. Here's a look at the front torso print with armor, mask, and hair removed. I'm not going to take this guy apart fully because they have the same exact torso, but they do actually have different face prints. This Cole has the Dragon's Rising face, this one just has the standard movie face, and if we turn them around, there's a look at their alternate faces as well as the back torso print that they both share. And again, it's more of those Rocky-style dragon scales with the gold armor above it. I think these two are super cool. Next up, we have Jay in both his dragon form and his non-dragon form, and this is going to be a bit quicker because you can see a lot of the design language from Cole is also present here. But of course, there's the differences that I mentioned. The scales on his chest are an entirely different shape. Jay's scales are more pointy, almost creating a shield-like design, and his belt does go over the same leg, but there's a bit more of a curve to it. His wings at the back also are a new recolor, it's just regular blue. I really appreciate that they did that because they had an existing dark blue from last year, and they very easily could have just reused that here and not had to make a new color. But no, I guess they thought regular blue looked better, so they did decide to actually change that, and I'm really glad because I think this turned out great. And the tail has been recolored to blue as well. Notably, the non-dragon form of Jay is the only non-dragon form to not come with a full armor piece, and that's just because in the set that this guy comes in, he could not fit in his vehicle with that armor piece on, so they just left it out of the entire set. That is definitely unfortunate. However, Zane is the only ninja who comes with this full armor piece in 2 sets, so if you were to get every single set this way, you can remove the armor piece off one of your Zanes and give it to Jay instead, and then you have just enough armor pieces to have 6 full dragon forms and 6 full non-dragon forms, which, if you're curious, there's what that looks like. In terms of color scheme on Jay, he brings back the bright yellow, which we've not seen on him in a moment. It was a big part of his core design, but those were really the only ninja suits to use it. So I'm glad to see it back. It represents the element of lightning well, and it's so different from the blue that he uses. It really helps him to stand out against like Zane and Nya and Sora, who also use those blues. He's the only one of any of them to use yellow. He does use dark blue for his belt, which just like Cole, that's the only place that color's used. I would have liked to maybe see that reincorporated somewhere, but honestly, the dark blue on top of the regular blue is so subtle that I don't mind it as much as the dark gray on Cole, and even that's not like the biggest deal. I think that looks fine. So yeah, overall I'm pretty happy with this one. Interesting that in the non-dragon form he uses the dark blue half mask piece instead of the regular blue one to match his headband. I think that looks fine. I would have liked a bit more consistency there, either recolor the headband also be dark blue or just use the regular blue mask, but I don't even know how canon these suits are going to be anyway, so I don't think that's the end of the world. And removing the accessories to take a look at the face prints, Jay actually does have an all-new face for this wave. The dragon form just uses the Dragon's Rising face, so nothing new there. But yeah, the movie Jay face is actually retired, so instead of using his movie face, he's got a brand new one. On one side of the face, there's a very angry expression, the other side just has a quite happy smile. This side of the face especially, I think is amazing. This looks straight out of the show. I can remember him making this exact expression, especially in like the Wild Brain era. The angry expression is definitely a little intense for me, especially because it's a quite similar emotion to this face, but I think this one like tones it down a bit more. this looks really good, but I'm not going to complain about a new face print. Ideally, I would have loved like a new screaming or scared Jay, because that fits his personality and we've never gotten that before. But this one at the very least is very good. So this one not being the best is not the end of the world. I still like it a lot. Pretty happy with Jay overall. Next up, we have Zane in both his dragon form and his non-dragon form, and once again, very similar design to the others. The scales on Zane are sort of shaped to look like packed snow, which I think is really cool. And I think this armor piece on non-dragon form Zane is one of my favorite minifigures of this entire wave. Again, there's something I just find so appealing about the contrast in size between the armor and his head. It's just so much fun to me. But honestly, my biggest critique of these minifigures is the color choices. The biggest issue, in my opinion, is on the torso with the scales, and I think they're just doing too much in terms of colors. Because they have the gold trim that all of the ninja have, you just saw it on Cole and Jay. But then they add a light blue trim around that, which is cool in theory to like give that feeling of ice, but in practice I feel like the color is too subtle and too small that it makes the torso almost look a little bit dirty, because I don't see like a distinct metallic gold and a distinct blue. I just see a blend of two contrasting colors, and like the gray outline doesn't help it either. I honestly think this torso would look better with just the gold, just the light blue, or transforming the gray outline into another light blue outline, or honestly even black. Something about that color combination they chose just feels a little bit murky to me. And then the belt is dark gray, which I think looks really out of place. And Cole, at least, dark gray is one of his colors. He's used it many times before. Zane, though, has never really used dark gray. He's used light gray before and he's used silver before, but not dark gray. And with everything else that was already going on with the torso, it feels very, very out of place to me. Light gray would have looked better, but honestly, I would have preferred they like bring back over this blue that's in his arms. Because the dark gray belt with the somewhat murky looking torso, I just feel like there's too much going on. I will say I do really love the shade of blue they chose for his arms, and it's also on his mask and his dragon form. Blue on Zane is one of my favorite things that they've been doing, especially in recent years, and this shade especially is the perfect one for him. Like, especially on this full dragon helmet, I think that looks amazing to create those icy horns. I guess I haven't really touched on the new mask piece at all, but yeah, I think it does a good job to represent what it wants to. It still feels like a ninja mask, but you have those horns in there and everything. Again, feels very animated and fun, just like the armor piece. And if I turn these guys around, you can see the Draconian wings are recolored in white here, and there's that all new tail piece in white as well. And here's a look at the back torso print and face prints. Back torso print, very similar thoughts on the colors as I have on the front, and the regular version of Zane still uses his Sons of Garmadon face print, and this guy just uses his standard Dragon's Rising face print. Zane's my favorite ninja, so I still really love these two, but if I was in the design room, there's definitely a few different choices I would make when it comes to color. Next up, Dragon's Rising Kai technically has three variations. We have his non-dragon form, his dragon form without the wings and the tail, and then the dragon form with the wings and the tail. Once again, on the non-dragon form, I love how the armor looks. On Kai, his dragon scales are designed to look like little flames, and his belt goes over both legs just like Zane, but you can see how that differs from Cole and Jay. Kai, interestingly, only introduces two like Kai-specific colors in this design, when all the other ninja had three. Like Cole had dark gray, black, and orange, Zane had white, dark gray, and that light blue, Jay had regular blue, dark blue, and light yellow, but Kai here only has red and dark red. There is no third color. I think that creates a nice consistency in the outfit because the color that's on the horns is the same as what's on the arms, and it's also the same as what's on the belt. But then Kai also does something else strange where his wings are the same color as the horns, when on every other ninja so far it's been the same color as their main outfit. Now you might be thinking, oh, they just did that because the wings are dark red so they could reuse the Draconian wings. And that could definitely be a part of it, but as I just pointed out, I mean, Jay uses dark blue, but he did not have the dark blue wings, even though those already exist for the Draconians. So I am quite curious why this guy reused the Draconian wings and Jay didn't. Honestly, of the two approaches, I'm not sure which ones I prefer. I do think dark red looks better on this guy overall, because the regular red on the wings would make this entire minifigure feel very red. This version instead I think has a nice balance between the lighter and the darker color, but it is definitely a weird bit of inconsistency. And he also uses regular red for the tail as well, so he's one of only two dragon ninja to have different colors for the tail and wings. Overall though, I think this is one of the best looking dragon forms. I feel like this is the case with a lot of Kai suits. Kai changes his color scheme the least across different minifigures. His minifigures just always look good, and this one's no exception. I will say, like, the incomplete dragon form I'm not the biggest fan of. It's cool in the context of the set that it comes in, because he goes into the full mech and then the mech sort of becomes the dragon form. But yeah, these two I think definitely look significantly better just on their own. And then here's a look at face prints. These guys come with the standard Dragon's Rising faces. This guy comes with the standard movie face. So there's one side, there's the other side, and there's a look at the back torso prints as well, where again we have those dragon scales with the flames on them. Next up we have Lloyd, who once again overall I do quite like. I worry that Lloyd might fall into the trap of having too many different shades of green, because we have lime green here, the bright green for his base color, and then dark green for his belt. But honestly, I think he blends it all, he makes it work, it doesn't feel like too much. I think back to like his core suit, and his core suit's fine, but that makes me really go, wow, that's too many greens, because that has a lot of different shades going on. This is a lot of green, but I think all the green makes sense. And personally, I'm happy to see the lime green come back, because that's a color that Lloyd uses very rarely, and it's one of my favorite LEGO colors. I think it's quite cool whenever it's brought out. Interestingly, Lloyd also takes the Kai approach where his wings are a different color than his tail, and the color of the wings matches the horns and the arms rather than the color of the body. But unlike Kai, it's not because these wings are reused. No, this is a new color for this set. They very easily could have just made it bright green instead. So yeah, really not sure what was happening there, and maybe they didn't want consistency. Maybe consistency isn't what they were going for. I just find it odd that when you look at the full lineup, 2 do it like this and 4 do it the other way. The non-dragon form of Lloyd, again, I think I might prefer to the full dragon version. The dragon version's really cool, don't get me wrong, but these are super clean suits just on their own. And again, I love that armor piece on Lloyd too. The scale design on this guy is a lot more like polygonal. There's like these very distinct diamond shapes with a few swirls at the top. And here's a look at everything removed, where again we have the standard Dragon's Rising face on the right, and the movie face on the left, and there's a look at the alternate faces. I actually quite like the shape of the scales on Lloyd's back here. Those feel somewhat different to how the other ninja do it. But yeah, once again, overall very happy with him. And now our final dragon ninja, we have Nya. And I always say Nya's suits are always either the best suit of the wave or the worst suit of the wave, and I do think this one is a pretty good contender for the best. Nya, just like Kai, does have 3 different versions across the set. We have the normal version without armor, the normal version with armor, and then of course the full dragon form. But yeah, I love that she uses the azure as the base color but brings in the gunmetal gray that she doesn't use too often anymore, but was a major part of her color scheme for a very long time. Then she continues with the red belt as well, which I love that they've started doing again since Dragon's Rising, calling back to her time as Samurai X when she used to wear red. It's a nice accent that contrasts against everything else, but in a good way. It doesn't feel like it's out of place or adding too much. It's a very intentional design choice that does draw your eye, but I think it looks very good. The dragon form looks really good, but once again, I think I actually prefer this one in the middle. Just seeing the headband hair pieces with the full armor I think looks amazing. But Nya does have a brand new color for the draconian wings and a new color for the tail. And of course, because she uses the gunmetal gray, she's the only ninja to have a metallic color on the hood, so that helps her stand out in a very good way too. The scales in her torso have some curves to them, almost to look like little water droplets or waves. And here's a look at the full torso print with everything removed. You can see she has a little red undershirt too. Nice way to tie back in that belt. And here's the 2 face prints, the standard Dragon's Rising face and the standard post-movie face, as well as the back torso print and alternate face. Really love this back torso print once again. Those water droplet scales look amazing. And there's the 2 alternate faces for each of these minifigures. Of course, this one also uses this face. It's hard to rank these because honestly, I like them all so much. Zane is definitely my least favorite, unfortunately. But Nya very well could be my favorite, at least in terms of the full dragon form. I'm between her and Kai. But Lloyd, Cole, and Jay are all pretty close after. Now continuing with the other ninja, here are the other 2 that come in sets this wave. We have the new version of Arin, and then we have this Sora suit. The new version of Arin I think is awesome. It keeps like the dual color design we had on Dark Arin in 2025, but now he's not evil anymore, so he swaps the black out for a dark blue instead, which I think fits him really well. He's used dark blue a little bit in the past, but this is easily the ninja suit that incorporates it the most. And I love these like dueling dragons on his torso, the one orange and the one dark blue. It's a subtle thing too, but his one arm, this is actually a new color for Ninjago. This is reddish orange. It was introduced to LEGO only a couple of years ago, but I love the idea of them using that for Arin specifically. Arin's main color is of course bright orange, and then he's used normal orange in the past, but normal orange is a color that we've seen a lot. Cole uses it all the time, we just saw it on his dragon suit. So using reddish orange instead is a nice way to make sure Arin still feels like the orange ninja, but it does separate him from Cole a bit and make sure the 2 of them don't share as much of the same color scheme. And reddish orange is also just darker than regular orange, so it contrasts a lot better against the bright orange. His armor piece and upper hood piece are not new. This is just Sora's armor from the first wave and then his mask from the first wave. I think that's a little unfortunate. I would have liked to see some sort of recolor here. Like getting his hood in dark blue I think would have been awesome. But I will say I think it fits him. I just like the idea of getting new parts for these minifigures and not reusing them. But thematically, like, this does make a lot of sense. There's a look at him with the mask and armor removed as well. He's got a nice dark blue undershirt on. And the back torso print's amazing as well. Like, one of my favorite details on this minifigure. The tails of the dragon on the front like wrap around this logo in the center. And the logo is entirely made up of that reddish orange and that dark blue. It spells out his name. It's got a symbol in the center, which is just the Ninjago letter A. And you can see the little tips of the tails out the bottom. My one critique of this minifigure is I still think Arin needs a new face print. We're now going into season 4 and he's just stuck with this one smiling face. And I do think this face is fine. It fits Arin really well, but it's a shame that it's really the only face we have for him. We had one other in Build a Minifigure, and that one was good as well, but it was another smiling face. Arin is a ninja fight. He should have some sort of angry face like the rest of the ninja have for when he's fighting. It's a shame he's stuck like this all the time. I really like this minifigure though, I think it's great overall. And then Sora is just a reprint of her spectral suit just with different armor. And I mean, hey, I'm glad it's not season 1 Sora, it's something a little bit newer. The cheapest set spectral suit Sora came in was $45, so this now gives you more options to get her. And I think it is actually a really good looking minifigure. Easily one of her best suit designs of the 3 that she's had. I love her color scheme with the white, dark blue, and coral. This does feel like a full proper ninja suit for her too, with this really neat sparkle pattern. But yeah, I still think it's a shame that all the other ninja are getting new suits and she's not. I mean, at least she gets a minifigure. Wildfire and Frack are nowhere to be found in this wave. So I guess that's progress. But yeah, I've covered this minifigure before because she comes in other sets. I do like it, I think it's a really good one, I just wish it was new. It looks great at least, and I think the Tournament of Sources armor fits it really well. And then here's our one side character that comes in these sets, Euphrasia, which I'm surprised to see we're getting another version of, but wow, I'm so happy that we are, because this figure looks phenomenal. She's got a very familiar design, so it still feels like Euphrasia. She's got the white with the blue robes, and her hood's down. She's got her full hairpiece and the same face print she had in the last set, which was not a unique face for her, it was one designed for LEGO City. But honestly, I like it. She's got the laughing face and the smiling face. Of course, just like I said with Arin, it is Ninjago, so I would have liked some sort of angry face, but for a side character like this, that's not the end of the world. Her torso and leg design is beautiful, though. Like, wow, look at this. The biggest thing is that metallic blue, which is one of my favorite LEGO printing colors. It's become a lot more common than it used to be, but this figure pretty much brings it to its limits. This looks amazing. The robe design is very reminiscent of the Cloud Kingdom monks that we see in the show, and she's got a belt with the symbol in the center that she had on her previous outfit, with this like armored plating behind it, which looks really cool. It feels like she's actually prepared for battle. And if we turn her around, there's look at her back torso print where she has more of that metallic blue printing again with that same symbol, and some interesting looking detailing right above that too. Yeah, this minifigure is one of the highlights of the wave. I really love it. It's a shame she only comes in one set that's somewhat expensive, but man, she is a really good reason to get that one. Something interesting this time around, her color has been changed from her last one. Now she uses a different shade of blue, and this is actually the same shade of blue that Nya uses. I'm not sure how I feel about that change. I think it looks really good on this minifigure, but I think the previous shade of blue fit the element of wind better. And also I was just praising like how the Arin suit no longer used the same shade of orange that Cole used. I do think it's a bit odd to have a newer character use a color that one of the main characters uses already, but you know what, Sora shares a lot of colors with Zane, so it's not the end of the world. With the white and everything, this could not be mistaken for a Nya suit. So I think it's fine. I just think the previous color scheme was maybe a little bit better. The metallic blue fits in with everything perfectly though, and that's what like really seals the deal on this minifigure for me. So yeah, absolutely phenomenal one. I really love how it turned out. Now moving on to the villains, here are the first two, the Loyalists. On the left we have the Loyalist Leader, and on the right we just have the regular Loyalist. And it's hard to talk about these guys without sort of talking about spoilers, so if you want to be completely surprised by Dragon's Rising Season 4, skip ahead to the next timestamp. Personally, if it's in the sets, I don't consider it a spoiler, but yeah, it's up to you to make your own decision about that. Alright, this is your last chance to skip, ready? These guys are called the Loyalists because it seems they are loyal to Imperium, specifically the old Imperium government that got overthrown in Season 1 of Dragon's Rising. And that's because this minifigure, the Loyalist Leader, is actually Dr. Laro. The regular Loyalist is just like a generic character, it seems. They've got this white mask on, but you can see like the yellow LEGO minifigure eyes underneath. And they both share the same exact torso and legs with this interesting like dragon design on it that's also on the staff here. But yeah, it's this dragon with two different shaped horns. One's got like rocks, one's like more metal, then it's got fire coming out of its mouth, a tentacle coming out of its mouth, and I have no idea what's going on there at all. I'm very curious to see the show and what that is, but that's like the symbol of the Loyalists. The regular Loyalist though, that white mask actually matches that design a bit. He's got two tentacles in each side of his mouth, and his eyebrows have that rocky design. But then on the other side, the eyebrows are a lot sharper, there's no tentacles, instead he has fangs coming out of his mouth. Laro's alternate face, she has this golden mask with those tentacles and these vibrant green eyes. And then the torso designs I think are really cool, because it has the Imperium colors with the black, dark red, and gold. But it's not as high-tech as the original Imperium figures from 2023. Instead it gives like more cultish vibes. Laro uses the newer hood piece introduced in LEGO Star Wars, and the Loyalist uses the older one, and I think that's good. It makes the two fit together but still feel different even though they have the same exact torso and legs. Definitely the least interesting villains of this wave because the rest are so cool, but I still quite like them. Next up we have the Earth Monster, who's like one of the evil elemental power monsters we have this season. And there's actually two different versions of this guy. The one on the left comes in most sets, and the one on the right's exclusive to the spinner set that comes with Lloyd. Design-wise, the full version of the Earth Monster is sick. I love the giant beetle pincers at the top of his head, and they also attach to his hands to be like giant claws. It's so over-the-top and exaggerated, just like the ninja's armor, in fact. And I think that's part of what makes this guy work really well in this wave this season. The dark tan's just a really nice color to get as well, because it's not the most common one in the world. And the torso printing is incredibly detailed. It's not like my favorite color scheme ever, at least in terms of like personal taste, but it represents the element of Earth perfectly. You have like some sort of orange energy, maybe lava in the center of his chest, but you have all these little cracks in the earth, there's these metallic silver rocks, and a gold chain around his neck too with this little emblem on it which also matches what's on the Loyalist that we just saw, so there's some relation between these guys and those guys. Of course, the armor piece is the crystallized armor piece now recolored in transparent orange, which is a brand new color for this part. If we turn them around, you can see they have studs on their back, and there's a full look at the back torso print and back head print with everything removed. That golden chain continues around the back here, and we have more of that metallic silver printing, and there's a full look at the front as well. This one on the right's exactly the same, but instead of using the beetle pincer piece on his head, he recolors the LEGO Marvel Korg headpiece. And I believe that's actually for safety reasons. He comes in a $10 spinner set that's meant for kids, and the spinner can move at super fast speeds, and also you place the minifigure in the spinner with its head going up. So if the figure was in a spinner and a kid were to step on it, they could potentially hurt themselves on these giant pincer pieces. So this much rounder headpiece solves that problem. I don't know for sure that's the reason, that's just my guess based off what I've seen from LEGO in the past. But honestly, I think it's really cool. It gives you a different variant of this guy, and this headpiece fits really well. And it is like an all-new exclusive recolor for this theme. We've never gotten that piece in that color before. But yeah, it's got that rocky design that fits the Earth monster. I think it's perfect. It's really neat to have two separate variants of this guy. Next up, we have the Mutation Monster, who also has two different versions, but these versions are not nearly as different. The only difference is we have the less detailed version and the more detailed version, because one comes with like these full tentacles on the back and the other does not. But aside from that, they're exactly the same. And this guy is also very cool, a quite creepy design. He uses the big fig headpiece with this giant eyeball and big smile. I believe that's our first time seeing that piece in Ninjago. It's been around in LEGO for a few years. But yeah, it definitely makes this guy stand out in that full Ninjago lineup. And then he reuses the Rock's hat piece from 2025, which it's quite funny to see that fits around a full big fig head, even though it was designed for a normal minifigure. But yeah, this guy's the Mutation Monster, and he looks like he's just made out of sludge. He's got random teeth coming out of his body, which is really gross, but like in the best way possible. That's a great villain design. A very like loose cloth around his waist, then like more claws coming out of his feet, more teeth or claws coming out of his back as well. He does have one transparent green arm, which is quite cool to see. And the teeth right here are gripping onto a little golden emblem, which is the same as what we saw in the Mutation Monster and the Loyalists. So again, there's that consistency between all of them. I love the choice of orange as the color of the eye on top of the green. That contrasts perfectly. The teeth are also like light yellow too. I like that they're not a perfect white. It shows that this guy is a little gross and disgusting. And then the full version even comes with little claws and like these full tentacles on his back, which just makes this minifigure so much more unique. Yeah, I think this is a great villain design, awesome colors. He uses bright green just like Lloyd. It's a shame this guy only comes in 2 sets, with the full version only in 1. I would love to have more opportunities to get him. And finally, for the Dragon's Rising villains, we have the Acid Snake, and this is probably my favorite minifigure of this entire wave, at least from the Dragon's Rising side. This guy looks so cool. He brings back like the purple Pythor tail, though of course with new printing and not meant for Pythor, but it is on that like purple base color. But then he uses lime green detailing on top, which is such a great color combination. Again, there's that same gold emblem that they all have, and then he's got this amazing new dual molded headpiece. It's dual molded in purple and transparent bright green. There's like little cuts in the frills on his head. His neck's entirely transparent, his eyes are transparent, his teeth are transparent. The transparency is perfectly placed too, so if you have like a bright light coming from behind, it shines through the eyes. There's transparency even on the forehead as well. Just an incredible design in pretty much all possible ways. I absolutely love this thing. It's crazy to me how common this minifigure is, because that's a really detailed new headpiece. The tailpiece they don't usually put in a ton of sets. But no, there's 3 different sets where you can get this guy, which I think is great. Makes for a perfect villain too. I really love this one. And that's everything for Dragon's Rising, so now let's go through Legacy. And I'm going to go a little bit quicker through these just because I feel like I've thoroughly covered them in other videos. Not just the reviews, but I did a comparison to the originals as well. So I've talked about many of these quite a few times already, but I still want to cover everything in this video that's not exclusive to the Old Town. So here's all the Legacy minifigures that come in the main wave sets. First up for the ZX Ninja, we have Zane and Kai here, and these two are pretty much perfect. Kai is basically 1-to-1 from the original, just more detailed. They add some gold trim to this gray part of his robes. This fire detailing on his dark red armor becomes a bit more prominent. And of course, they both use these all-new hood pieces, which are dual molded in their color as well as gold. And I think these look really good from the front. From the back, I'm not as big of a fan of them just because they have this gold cloth. And I think it's a little bit weird to have gold armor that's the same color as the cloth at the back. I would have preferred if that was the same color as the rest of their masks, so red for Kai or white for Zane. But it's not the end of the world. I think the gold looks fine. And I guess from the back, it does like break up the colors a bit. So I think that works. They have the original ZX armor. Zane brings back the tan here, which makes me so happy to see because that's a color he barely ever uses, but he did use on the original ZX suit. So I think it's phenomenal to see it come back here. And they changed his design a little bit. They gave him some buckles on the belt, gave him a light gray undershirt, a light gray belt as well, which he didn't have previously. And then all the ninja this time around have shoe printing, which they did not have before. Around the back too, you can see their symbol through their armor, at least you're supposed to. Kai, unfortunately, you cannot. You can only see the top of his symbol. And that's honestly my biggest critique of the Kai minifigure. He would be perfect otherwise. But yeah, that symbol's a little too far down, so it doesn't show out the back like the rest is supposed to. Here's a look at the full back torso prints with the armor and hoods removed, as well as the full face prints. prints. Kai, of course, still has his movie face, but Zane actually does have a new face print for this wave. It's yellow Zane, and it's actually based off his original design. He's got the original eyebrows back, and he's got a little smiling face now, which is so cute. We only ever had one expression for yellow Zane back when it first came out in 2011, and we never got another one. So it's so exciting that after 15 years, we finally have another expression for him. And then he also has an alternate face print, where his face is half ripped off like we see at the end of Season 1 as well as in Rebooted. And this is a face print we've gotten before, but it's awesome for new fans to have a chance to get it. And the expression this time around is a little bit different, with his mouth open and teeth gritted. These two are easily the best for the new Legacy Ninja. Cole and Jay also get new Legacy ZX outfits, but interestingly, unlike their original outfits, they use gold instead of silver. I definitely would have preferred the silver on the both of them, but I will say on Cole at the very least, he does look pretty good. They brought the gold over here in a way that feels natural, and everything else about the design feels very reminiscent of Season 1. He's got the brown detailing on his torso, the ropes that come down into the legs, and of course they added shoe printing this time around. But with Jay, it's a little more complex, because he used to have silver armor that transitioned into the silver arm, but instead they gave him gold armor and kept the silver arm. This has started a lot of discussion in the community because everyone has a different opinion on how they should have gone about this. I do think the minifigure would have looked better if they went for a fully gold arm with gold printing, but simultaneously I don't think it would have felt like a Legacy ZX suit then, it would have just felt like a new J suit. The way they did it, this still feels like Legacy J, but the gold does feel quite out of place to me. The perfect version of this minifigure would have been fully silver, but luckily at the very least you could take this updated torso and legs, which I think look much better than the original, and give them back to the original minifigure, and I think that does create like the perfect JZX. They did change up his design a little bit though. He now has metallic silver printing, which he did not have previously for his torso, and there's little like golden lightning bolts now, which I think are actually a quite cool touch, and those are also present in the belt. Quite hard to see, but yeah, they're like very subtly there. There's a nice silver trim to his robe too, and that comes down into the legs, and of course, just like the rest, he's got shoe printing. Back torso print, you can see on both of these two, their symbols actually do show through the center of their armor, so Kai is the only one that has that issue. And with the hood and armor pieces removed, there's a full look at the back torso prints. Detail's absolutely perfect here, they have everything they need. And face prints, Cole just has his standard movie face, but Jay has that same new one that we saw on the Dragon Form Jay. So yeah, you do get that in multiple sets this wave, it's in both the Legacy sets and the main wave sets. Next up, we have our final Legacy ZX suit, Lloyd, as well as Sensei Wu. And Lloyd, just like Jane Cole, switches from using another color to using gold instead. The original Lloyd minifigure had gunmetal gray armor. But of the three that switch colors, I do actually think Lloyd works the best, and that's because this is a color scheme he uses just on other suits, not the original. But yeah, I think the gold actually translates really well here, and it's a cool variation to get, because it feels quite faithful to that original, but simultaneously seems like distinctly a different version. He's got like this gold scale detailing on his torso and his legs, which used to be silver in the original design, and I love the dark green arms, that's one of my favorite touches. I do think it's interesting to note that they went back to regular green for this suit when all the Dragon's Rising suits have been using bright green. It makes sense to use the regular green, I mean it is accurate to this time period. But yeah, it does seem like they were aiming for accuracy over like what the current thing is, because they very easily could have done the current Lloyd color scheme with this suit. Turning him around, of course, just like the rest, he has a symbol that shows through the center. Mask piece off is just the standard movie face. And back torso print, he actually has his original snake symbol, which I love so much, because with Golden Lloyd in 2013 and then every suit after that, he switched to using a dragon symbol instead. And while I do like the dragon symbol, the snake symbol is so much more nostalgic, so seeing them go back and do the actual original Lloyd symbol is awesome. And then Sensei Wu is Sensei Wu. It's a remake of his 2011 design, and it's pretty faithful. He has little shoes now, his iconic black belt, though the belt's been shortened a little bit, which I think is a shame. I like the very oversized belt he used to have. He's got a symbol on his back in like this light red color. Of course, the iconic Sensei Wu beard. And if we take that off, there's a full look at the torso print and face print. Face print's the one introduced for Ninjago Legends last year, so it's nice to have more ways to get that. That same symbol's on the front of his outfit, and then he just has like a light gray robe. This is good. I mean, it represents a Wu well enough, but it is a pretty basic Wu suit. I don't really have much else to say on it. Next up, we have Nya, who gets two different outfits, at least in the main wave sets. The first one's a remake of her original 2011 design, complete with her original hairpiece. And this does just feel like a perfect upgrade to the original. It has back printing for the first time. All the colors have been made more vibrant, it's up to modern LEGO design standards. Her symbol matches her newer symbol, not her original one. Which, unlike the Lloyd thing I just talked about, I actually like this more on Nya. Because Nya's original design was entirely themed around Kai. Kai was her brother, Kai was the fire ninja, so she had a lot of fire aspects to the design. In 2015 though, when she became the water ninja, they switched a lot of her aesthetics to be water instead, and they modified her symbol to be a phoenix with like little water aspects to it, right? It wasn't a flaming bird, it was a bird with waves in it. And they brought that bird with waves symbol over back on these suits. And I think that's really cool. It's like retroactively what this suit should have been from the beginning. She does still have her modern face print, which I think is fine. Obviously, it would have been cool to see them go back and do an original Nya face. but this works well enough. This minifigure is pretty much perfect in my opinion. And the new Samurai X, I mean, it's solid, it's fine. It's not super accurate to the original Samurai X, like the torso is loosely inspired by it, but she doesn't have the full armor piece, which is like the distinct part of that original Samurai X. So this, at least to me, feels more like a new original Samurai X design. Still, that doesn't make it bad. She's got this newer, larger horn piece, which I think works fine, though I prefer the original. And they did bring back the original gunmetal gray helmet, which makes me happy to see, because it's been years since we got that. She uses the Tournament of Sources armor piece, which is like completely new for this outfit. And she brings a bit more gold into the design. I like the blue belt, that's a new touch to again sort of foreshadow her future as the Water Ninja. And she's got that same like post-movie face print. You can see bits of this torso underneath the armor on this one, I think that's a cool touch. And around the back, that Phoenix symbol's a lot more obvious. This minifigure is definitely one of the less interesting ones of this wave, but hey, I'm glad we got it. We absolutely did not need a new Samurai X, so the fact that we got that alongside a regular Nya I think is super cool. It just gives you even more to collect. After that, we have Blacksmith Kai, and this figure is a dream come true. It's a figure we've been wanting for years, and it's unreal to finally have it in my hand. I think it's done pretty much perfectly. And by that, I mean the torso and legs, like this is pretty much straight out of the show. Some things are modernized a little bit, but this feels like an accurate depiction of how he appears in the show. He's got the white shirt, the red pants, the orange apron that goes across them, a little bit of neck printing too, which LEGO doesn't normally do, so I'm glad they did include it on this minifigure. That apron wraps around the back too. This is everything I could possibly want. The one critique I've seen about this minifigure is, of course, the face print is not the original face print, and the hairpiece is not the original hairpiece. And would it have been nice to see those things? Sure. But honestly, it doesn't bother me too much that it's the more updated designs. For one, the face print isn't entirely inaccurate. We do see Kai in this outfit with the updated design in March of the Oni, so you could consider it accurate to March of the Oni. He does not have the headband in those scenes, so technically he should have his full hairpiece, not the headband hairpiece. But my logic is all those pieces exist, right? You can go buy the original Kai head on the aftermarket, you could buy the original hairpiece on the aftermarket. Would it have been nice if it was included in the sets in the first place? Sure. But the important things were the torso and the legs, and those are included here. And this is close enough to the March of the Oni design that it doesn't even feel like completely inaccurate. This feels like a nice representation of Kai. And of course, yeah, that face print is just the standard movie face. Next up, here are Rei and Maya, Kai and Nya's parents, and the two of them are both based off their Serpentine Wars designs, which we've technically never gotten before. Now, Maya's Hands of Time design and her Serpentine Wars design are basically the same thing, but Rei's Serpentine Wars design is entirely different from his original, so it's super exciting to finally get. And this guy looks great. I love that he's a Master of Fire that doesn't use the exact same color scheme that Kai does. Instead, he has these silver arms and silver armor, dark red is his base color, but then he has black legs. He's got both metallic silver and metallic gold printing on his torso to create that dragon face. And then he's got an all-new face print, which is really good. On one side, he's got a really wide, happy smile, and the alternate face, a very intense, angry expression, and that silver armor continues around the back, too. The angry face I love, the happy face I feel like is maybe a little too silly for me, but it's still good, it's still definitely Rei. And both faces are different than what we had before for him, so now we have 3 total expressions for this character. Unfortunately, he did not get the arm printing that he has in the show, which again, would that have been very nice? Yes. Would I have liked it? Yes. But is he still a great minifigure even without it? Also yes. So I am quite satisfied with this one. And then yeah, Maya, because she already existed, she's one of the less interesting minifigures of this wave, but if you missed out on the first time getting her, hey, this is a new way to do it, and it is a slightly different design. She's got a bit more gold this time around, her armor actually matches the Samurai X, which we just looked at. Just like with Rei and Kai, I really like how this is a Master of Water with a different color scheme than Nya. She uses this lighter blue that we've never seen Nya use before, and then a lot of dark blue, which Nya uses sometimes, but not like this. The brown on the belt and the hands is a really cool touch too. Back torso print, we've got that water symbol there, and of course that armor continues around the back. Face print, unfortunately, is just a generic LEGO City face. I really would have loved a new cheekbones face print like she had in the Serpentine Wars, because we never actually got that physically, but even still, she's pretty great as is. And finally, we have the 2 special anniversary figures that come in the main wave sets, the Master of Lightning and the Master of Earth. This is Jay's mother and Cole's grandfather. The Master of Lightning is probably another one of my favorite minifigures of this wave. Just like Rei and Maya, I love that it's a lightning character with a different color scheme than Jay. I guess technically we saw this color scheme on Dark Jay just recently, but this is not a dark character, this is a good guy character who uses black and dark blue with all these lightning effects on it, and I think it looks phenomenal. She's got Jay's kimono symbol on her belt, tons of this metallic blue printing, a nice blonde hairpiece which I believe is accurate to the show, fully detailed back torso print as well with more of those lightning effects. The only part I don't love about this minifigure is the face print, because this is just a generic LEGO City face, and it's one that's been reused a lot. It's the same one they used for Camille in the Ninjago City Gardens. And does it fit the Master of Lightning? For sure, I definitely see her when I look at this. But I also see that generic face that I've seen a million times, so it would have been nice if she had something more unique. And even if they wanted to reuse a Lego City face, maybe a different face than this one. But of course, it's Lego, you can always customize that yourself. The important parts were the torso, legs, and hair, and we get all of that here. So that alone makes her end up as one of my favorites. And then the Master of Earth is amazing as well. He's entirely silver in his body except for the hands, which is quite cool because you rarely see fully metallic figures like this outside of like C-3PO from Star Wars. And it presents an interesting challenge when it comes to design to make this guy without any like big colors coming out. Because he has silver printing on top, he has dark gray printing on top, he has black printing on top, but there's nothing super vibrant. There's a little tiny bit of gold at the neck and on the belt, but that's it. Everything else is gray and silver and black. But I do think that makes a ton of sense for the Master of Earth. And he's got a pretty cool Earth symbol on the back too, with a bit more gold. His helmet is just like a classic castle helmet, but it matches what we saw in the show. And then his face print is another generic face. I believe this is reused from LEGO Ideas or LEGO Creator, and it's used in like a lot of fantasy settings. Again, not 100% accurate to the show, but the torso and legs were the important part, and that's what we did get here. So if you want to swap this out for something better, you can. But if you don't have anything better, this works well enough. I'm so happy to be getting these two, and I'm really looking forward to collecting the rest. But there we go, there is every single minifigure that comes in the January 2026 Ninjago sets. Of course, as I mentioned, no, I did not go through the Old Town figures. Anything exclusive to the Old Town was not covered in this video, and that's just because there's so many of them, this video would probably be twice as long. But if you want to see my full thoughts about them, go check out my Old Town review. There's timestamps in the description. If you want to skip straight to the minifigures, you can hear my full thoughts on them and see them in full detail. But yeah, there's some really cool stuff in there as well. You got Faith, you got Dr. Julian, you got an awesome new garment on. I cannot praise that set enough for its minifigures. Like, they're really, really good. Main wave, though, also really great. Both Legacy and Dragon's Rising, I think this is one of the strongest minifigure lineups in a while. My only real critiques is I think it's a shame that not all the Ninja are included in this wave. There's no Wildfire or Frack. And the sheer count of exclusive minifigures, while it might be cool for collectors who can afford it, for younger fans, which I think are the most important fans of something like Ninjago, it's going to be very difficult to collect everything. So I wish the figures were a bit more accessible. But yeah, I like that no one character seems favored over another. Every single Ninja comes in at least 4 sets this wave if you count Dragon's Rising and Legacy. Or if you're only looking at Dragon's Rising, every character comes in at least 2, possibly 3. There's a nice variety of villains, and every single villain comes in multiple sets. Yeah, aside from those 2 small points that I mentioned, this is a really good minifigure lineup. Actual designs are really good too. I don't think there's really any minifigures I like strongly dislike this wave. Not that there usually is, but like the ones I had the biggest critiques of were probably Legacy J. I had some critiques for Dragon Form Zane. And I guess like Legacy Wu I don't find the most interesting, but he's good. He's everything he should be. Same thing with like Legacy Samurai X. In terms of favorite minifigures, definitely Legacy Zane, Legacy Kai. Dragon Form Nya is quite cool. I like the Acid Snake a lot. Mutation Monster is pretty cool. And if we include the Old Town, so many more. I mean, Dr. Julian's my #1. The new Legacy Nya, like the regular version's up there. Oh, of course, Euphrasia. Euphrasia amazing, possibly the best looking minifigure of this wave. It's just a great wave for minifigures overall. But of course, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think of everything in the comments below. What's your favorite minifigure in this wave? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it, subscribe to my channel if you're new. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!